Also breaking now, Clayton County Police have just arrested a teen in that daring daycare car theft, one with a 6-year-old inside. We showed you this security video last night on the late feed. You can see two people hop out of a silver Nissan. One drives off in a Chrysler, the other in a Santa Fe. Well, tonight police say one of those drivers was 17-year-old Jaden Chapman. Detectives tracked him using GPS, and tonight they found him at an apartment complex in southeast Atlanta, actually sitting in the stolen Chrysler. Police say besides car theft, he could also face kidnapping charges. The little boy was released shortly after being taken and is okay tonight. Another developing story we're on tonight. Popular college known for rising above facing allegations of discrimination on campus. Students at Spelman College say messages of hate were left at their door because one of them is transgender. Now, Natisha, you're a grad at Spelman. What did you find out?
Well, Vinny, if you recall, we reported on this last September. It was announced a new policy to accept transgender students. But I can tell you when that policy was announced, it was a highly debated among alumni and current students. And now that the policy is just months away from going into full effect on campus, one student is saying the school has some work to do when it comes to making all students feel safe.
We don't want you, you freaks. Keep Spelman safe. No.
That hateful note scribbled on a piece of ripped-lined notebook paper was not the first message directed towards Spelman College senior Amber Warren and her partner.
I'm just hurt because I feel like I worked so hard while I was here to create safe spaces.
Amber is the president of Aphrodite. It's the women's college LGBTQ organization.
Why do you think you guys are being targeted?
And the first note, I think, kind of did come out after Spelman Connection had posted that Pride Week is coming.
The second note came at the end of Pride Week. Spelman is just the second historically black women's college to announce a transgender admissions policy. In a letter sent to the Spelman community, President Mary S. Campbell wrote, "Like same-sex colleges all over the country, Spelman is taking into account evolving definitions of gender identity in a changing world. It was a controversial issue that divided students and former students and saw posts on social media like this one, which said, 'How's a trans woman a woman?' Spelman's new policy will roll out next school year, but Amber doesn't think there will be any significant changes.
I feel like it's going to be reactionary. It's not going to be proactive.
While talking with Amber, the Dean of College Relations approached her and told her a letter saying the notes were unacceptable and a violation of Spelman's principles and values and code of conduct went out to students.
It's just an email to me. It's a start, but like it's not helping what happened. It's not really putting any fear of reprimandation into any of the students, I feel.
Now, Benny, it does sound like the school is invested in trying to make trans students feel welcome on campus, but right now, Amber, as she just mentioned, wants the school to take stronger actions to ensure students get the education they need in order to have tolerance for everyone.
All right, thanks so much, Natisha. You know, last night we told you about a mother's heartbreaking search for her missing 14-year-old son. Well, this morning we learned more than 48 hours after he disappeared that he was actually in police custody the whole time, despite his mother alerting police that he was missing. Now, there's a lot of social media outrage on the story, many of you posting things like the mother should have been contacted immediately, and how in the world was she not notified? Well, the law says they're supposed to notify parents, so what happened here? Faith Abube has the answers tonight.
Yeah, Vinny, there are so many layers and so many questions to this. Even the school district police officers were out looking for this boy. The Clayton County Police Department is not admitting any mistakes tonight, but a former juvenile court judge, who's now a state advocate for children, says officers dropped the ball.
I'm scared to death. Tanya Ingram spent days knocking on doors and handing out hundreds of flyers in an attempt to find her son, 14-year-old Bo.
Have y'all seen this little boy?
She did all the right things, going straight to Jonesboro Police to report him missing. Jonesboro Police said the address was Clayton County's jurisdiction, so she called them. But Clayton County insisted since the child was last seen at school, School District Police was responsible for the investigation. School District Police said it was Clayton County. So for days, Tanya worried.
As a mother, I feel like they could do more, that they're not out there doing enough. I hadn't seen not one of them.
Then Wednesday morning, 11 Alive got a call from a Jonesboro investigator. Bo was in Clayton County Police custody the whole time. He had been arrested for trespassing and burglary less than 10 minutes after leaving school Monday.
They left me to think he was in a ditch. They left me to think something really horrible had happened to my son.
No matter what the child did, the parent needs to know where that child is.
Tom Rawlings worked as a juvenile court judge for years and is currently the state-appointed child advocate. He says Bo's mother deserved more from Clayton County police officers.
That family suffered for what, 2 days almost, not knowing what was happening to their child. That's why we have very clearly in the law that the police, when they pick up a child, when they detain a child, take a child into custody, the first person to call is the parent. It's an affirmative obligation.
Clayton County police tell me they made an attempt to call Tanya after Bo's arrest, but can't say they were successful. They insist they followed policy.
This is really just a lot of stress, unnecessary for my whole family.
Well, the fortunate thing here is Rawlings tells me that this doesn't happen often, and this is why there are checks and balances in place so that this doesn't happen. If police couldn't find the parent, they should have called DFACS, Vinny.
So is anyone going to be held responsible here, Faith?
So the police department is still insisting tonight that it didn't do anything wrong, so that's yet to be determined.
All right. Thank you, Faith.
I'm Ron Jones with a developing story topping tonight's speed feed. A multi-state E. coli outbreak has now spread to our state here in Georgia, and it's all linked to romaine lettuce, which is grown in Yuma, Arizona, in that region. So far, only one Georgia case has been linked to the outbreak, but the CDC officials, they're saying that they're advising everyone to play it safe. Don't eat anything containing romaine lettuce. A shocking development in a serial killer cold case. Authorities in California say they have the notorious Golden State Killer in custody. He's been identified as Joseph James DeAngelo, a 72-year-old former police officer. There was a break in the case just 6 days ago with police identifying the killer with the help of DNA evidence. And authorities believe DeAngelo is responsible for a dozen murders and more than 50 rapes throughout California, starting in the 1970s through the 1980s. Tragedy in Dallas at the police department there. One of their own, shot at the Home Depot, has died, and fellow officers are mourning the loss of that officer right now. And this as they continue to hold a vigil for a second officer and a security guard who were also injured in that attack. And investigators arrested the alleged shooter last night after a high-speed chase. 29-year-old Armando Juarez remains behind bars with bonds set at more than $1 million. And tonight, we're also following yet another story of a local teacher accused of inappropriate behavior. We're talking about a high school baseball coach in Fayette County now accused of sexual battery.
It scares me.
I was shocked. He just seems like a normal guy, like any other teacher.
Parents and students at McIntosh High react to the disturbing news about their baseball coach.
You don't know where you're sending your kids these days.
It's pretty sad that you can't be safe or feel safe in your own school.
Coach and health teacher David Munoz was arrested this week for sexual battery.
Well, that's a bummer.
Peachtree City investigators are not giving much details, but say the allegation include inappropriate contact with multiple student athletes. Munoz has been the boys' baseball coach since 2014.
Very good teacher, coach, very loving person.
Some students approached our cameras near campus defending the coach's reputation.
From my experiences, he's never done anything that's made me uncomfortable.
Burke Berry is a freshman pitcher on Munoz's team. He believes the coach is wrongly accused. You don't think the allegations are true?
I do not.
Okay, and why is that?
I mean, personally, from this season, I've never seen him touch anybody inappropriately. I've never been touched personally.
Well, police are convinced the allegations are true. They say after the complaint was made against the coach, there was enough evidence to issue an arrest warrant. Why would someone go after the coach with those type of allegations? I mean, you don't believe that it's true. Why would they target him?
I mean, I'm not sure.
Now, Ron, not the first time we've covered a coach facing charges like this.
You know, sadly, Vinny, it is not. And some just within the past few weeks. Here's some of them that we want to talk about. Buford High School football coach Brad Elliott charged with having sexual contact with 2 female students. And Ryan Harvey was a teacher at Woodland High School. He's accused of inappropriately touching a student and asking him to send nude photographs of nudes, right? And we asked school districts in the past, how can this have happened, and all of them say that with all of these teachers' background checks, they were absolutely clean. Now, we have posted crime prevention tips to parents if you suspect your child may be a victim of a predator, as well as other resources for talking to your kids and authorities. You're going to find it all right there, Vinny, as you know, on 11alive.com.
Good information there. Thanks, Ron.
Sure.